Welcome to the Barbell Strikes Back. I'm James McDermott, joined by Miguel Porter. Miguel, it's Memorial Day weekend. How you doing?
Great. Grateful for the 3-day weekend. Definitely needed.
Yeah, it's nice. Although, is it a 3-day weekend when you have to do this big epic workout on Monday morning? Does it count?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you're approaching it, I guess. Um, yeah, I plan to have a fun time tomorrow, a
Yeah,
leisurely Murph.
I think that's allowed. I think, I mean, there's some times where these things pop up, the open, Murph, maybe even a weightlifting meet where you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna do something today, but it's not gonna be. I'm not going for all time PRs. I'm not gonna put on a vest. I'm not gonna maybe even do all the rounds and reps. I'm just gonna sweat, have a good time, be around people, and enjoy the activity instead of having the activity kind of ruin me for the day or
Right.
for several days or
Yeah.
even just my mindset and how I'm feeling. Yeah, I think that's cool. Uh, I'm planning to do Murph today, just because I was thinking it's hard to do it after the
Right.
whole event. 9 a.m. till 1 p.m., 2 p.m. whenever we leave, and then now I got to do it. So it would be nice just to get it done today. I think what I'm going to do is bookend it with 8 minutes of walking because
Mm.
I have to scam and get my steps in as
Yeah.
well. So I might as well kill two birds with one stone. Do the just some walking and then just half a Murph, 10 rounds of whatever.
Right.
I don't think I'll do the pull ups. I could do the toe assisted pull ups off of a chair
Yep.
and whatnot, but I'm just thinking I'm like, how much longer is that going to make my Murph getting up and like how much time do I want to spend with it? I don't know. It's either that or I'll do 5 pulls on the rower and then go on
Mm.
to other stuff. I don't
Yeah.
know. So I haven't really 100% decided. Last year I did an aqua Murph, so it's like completely
Yeah.
different. I did
Yeah.
it in the pool, so that was fun. I'm not gonna do that today either because I don't feel like going anywhere. I've been enjoying like yesterday and today of just like, oh, I don't have to go to the movies. I don't have to do
Mm.
this. I don't do that. I'm just gonna because last week was Saturday weightlifting meet, Sunday CrossFit event.
Right.
So
Yeah.
last weekend was exhausting. So I'm just really fine with not. That's why I said in class today, I'm like, I'm not leaving the house. I'm not
Yeah.
doing anything.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah. Last weekend was 2 days, almost 2 full days on the microphone,
Yeah.
just talking. It was a lot. And you officiated a wedding, right?
Yeah. Yep. Last Friday.
How
That
did that go?
was It went really well, actually. Not actually, as if I thought it would go any other way. But yeah, it's interesting. The day of things kind of set in. Yeah, I wasn't like nervous really.
Mm,
Um, I think the biggest thing there was, I guess if I had nerves, it was in relation to like parents of the bride, parents of the groom, and just
yeah.
like I hope they enjoy it. I
High
think like
expectations from that group.
Right. I think just situationally as well. My friend who's the bride, she's the only child, and then my friend who's the groom, he's the only boy of his parents' kids.
Hmm.
So I'm like, okay, this is like I know it from either side that like this is important. So I want this to be like good for the parents as well because I feel like I don't know, like people talk about like how your birthday is also like a celebration for your mother because she carried you for 9 months and like all that stuff. So I was thinking the same thing for weddings where it's like, oh yeah, this is equally as big for like parents as well. So I
Yeah.
was fairly not worried, but like I just hoped that they thought I did like well by their kids. Um, but the day of was very the nerves like hit, and I was like, oh, the wedding was at 5, and I woke up and I was like, I need to like move, get out of here. Thankfully, one of the bridesmaids uh, lives in like the DMV area, so they were in town, and while the all the bridesmaids and groomsmen were getting ready, um, one of the boyfriends was also in town, so I like showed him around in the morning, so it
Hmm.
like got my mind off of it.
And it got you
But
talking.
right, exactly, because I was just like in my head. So it was good. We like went around town for a little bit. And then, yeah, the ceremony itself was great. I'm fairly good on a mic. Again, like when I get back into talking, I'm fine with it. But you get the realization of like, oh, in a wedding ceremony, as the officiant, you're the only one talking the entire time until like the I do's, which is very
Yeah.
small, and then like repeat after me, which is like one or two sentences. So the whole time I was like, okay, it's 15 minutes of me talking. And I had like jokes in there and was wondering how those would be received. And yeah, immediately after, like everyone told me I did a great job. There were people asking if I do more weddings and like all this stuff. And I was like, I think this is a one and done.
Yeah.
The bride's grandparents, I think they're celebrating their 65th anniversary. And they were like, if we do a ceremony, will you do it for us?
That's
Um,
awesome.
but yeah, everyone loved it. I was getting compliments like throughout the night and the morning after as well. So yeah, I'm glad it went well and people enjoyed it. So
Well, it's a good perspective. I mean, it's you of course anytime you're speaking, you're like, well, who's out there? Who's listening? And then who is this for? And there are. It's just like if you're at a weightlifting meet, the only thing I can relate to is the parents are in the crowd and they're like, he's saying their name wrong. There are
right,
things
yeah,
things like that. That certainly happened that weekend when I was on the bike for the weightlifting meet because we were kind of running behind, so it had to be. It was one of those ones where it's like immediately following the session, we're doing awards like right away,
yeah,
and oh no, the session ends right away. I'm lining them up. Like I'm just gonna get out of the chair and start calling them, and then get out there, introduce them, then do awards. So I really didn't have time to be like, is it porter or portier or like how do you say your like?
yeah, yeah.
There was no time for that, so I was just saying stuff. But yeah, there's always people listening, and if
Hmm.
you have a live stream, oh my, who could be out there,
Right.
you know? Or even on like podcasting, like I used to get like anxious about like, well, who's going to listen to this,
Yeah.
type of a thing. Like it's one of those things when you're talking, you hope everyone receives it well. So that's good that you should totally do that. Older or the grandparents
Yeah. No,
anniversary thing.
their family is very fun as well. So I'm glad that
Yeah.
they liked it. Yeah, no, it was fun. I don't plan on doing another wedding for anytime soon.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but I'm glad I got that kind of out the way. It's honestly
Yeah.
been something that has popped up within like my different friend groups for a few years now of like, oh, how funny would it be if Miguel like did our wedding? But, you know, again, like a parents thing, like sometimes families have like a family pastor or like a more of like a traditional route that they like typically go. So like the opportunity never like really came about until this one. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad I did it.
Did you? I'll do this all the time. I think we spoke about last time we met. You're given the whiteboard brief, and you just like change a sentence down the line in your head, or you're like, well, no, I'm not going to talk about that right now, and you just kind of like file away. Like it's just like when you're in the moment, you're thinking of things, and you kind of change what you were going to say. Did you change any of your jokes because you're like, you know what, I don't want to say this in front of grandma right now, or did you alter things from your original plan?
Not really. Honestly, I feel like when I write things down, I s- I write the way that I speak and I speak the way that I write. So I'll even like I love a comma because I like use commas the way that I read them. Like it's like a
You
full
actually
pause.
pause.
Yeah, and like I use ellipses when I mean ellipses versus a comma versus a dash because I'm like these are all different. Um, so I'll even write in. I think there were points where I was like, we riff here based on the reception, but there's only two routes.
Hmm.
Um, and then we can speed this up. I don't have to pause as long on this. Or, oh, they laughed a little bit harder at that one. That I think there was one laugh that like I wasn't expecting to be as hard that like almost threw me off. Like I didn't even read the like second part of it. Because part of my thing was doing like um lyrics from songs. So some like the crowd were more familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
So like I would start and I would say 2 words and they would immediately start laughing because they knew where I was going or something like that. So there was one where I was like, oh, that's surprising. I didn't realize that people would be on this one as fast as they were. So I didn't even like finish the second part. But yeah, for the most part, I wrote everything the way that I wanted to read it. And it's just so much as well that I was like, I don't want to either get ahead of myself and like skip something or, you know, this or that.
Were you reading off a card or purely memory?
Yeah, so it's like you have a book, like you have an officiant book,
Hmm.
especially because like the end stuff is like legal. So
Yeah.
like you have to like make sure that all that's good. So you have the book, but obviously you're doing the like up down up down. Um, so yeah, but it 15 minutes kind of flew by. Um, but that is a long time to just be speaking all the way through in like a ceremony that you're not really the focus of.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It almost
yeah.
feels wrong. You're like, should this attention all be on me right now?
Right, yeah.
But then everyone in the crowd's like, we need him,
Mhm.
like in order for this to happen. Well, that's awesome. That's a great experience, a good public speaking experience, and no doubt it'll carry over in just confidence when you're coaching, right? You're like, all right,
Yeah,
like that was no doubt harder than standing in front of the board and be like, we're going to do a 20-minute AMRAP of 5, 10, 15 pull-ups, push-ups, air squats,
yeah,
and then answering questions and laying out what the expectations are. You were doing speaking last Friday on legal things, like you legally bounded a couple
yeah,
together. So that's you can field a question on can I do butterfly or kipping pull-ups?
yeah.
No problem. So do you feel that way? Do you feel now that you're like, whoa, I feel a little bit like even more like I've leveled up, I powered up to be in front of a crowd, to speak, to have control, things like that.
Yeah, again, I think it's one of those things where I performed at my expectations for myself because I've been a public speaker. Like I know how to do those type of things. It's just when you're out of, I guess, practice,
Hmm.
it is interesting to come back and like be back at your level that you know you're at. It's the same thing like when we started even just interning the classes and like I would do the whiteboard brief for you and you coach the rest of the class or something like that.
Yeah.
And speaking in those moments when we first started, in my mind I would be like, you're better than this. But when you go from like even in college, I did some education minor stuff. So part of those classes you will teach your own class for like 1 or 2 classes.
Hmm.
And again, I was in the practice of speaking for 40 something minutes and teaching a class. So you're there and you're doing it and that's natural. But then you get back to your desk job where I don't lead meetings. I just do data entry for years and years. And you're like, oh, I haven't spoken out loud in front of a group of people, like other than like a small meeting and like an interjection here or there in a very long time. So it's just practice getting back into it.
It's a skill, just
Yeah.
like anything else, like reading or writing, speaking. Like these are basic skills.
Yeah.
I almost wish that maybe like way back. I guess the grade school equivalent is like show and tell. Like that's like
Mhm.
your start of like, hey, get something from your house that you like, or about your family, and tell the class about it for literally 2 minutes. I guess that's like a first foray into it, but then like it kind of seems like in school like it goes away, on
Yeah.
speaking in front of the group, and then it doesn't come back to you for many people until college, and it's like your freshman year, and you have to get in front of the class with your group, and half the people in the group have no idea what your project was on because they didn't do
Yeah.
any work, and now you have to present this to the class, like, and then it's like who's going to speak? So not even everyone in that group will probably speak.
Nope.
So it's
Never.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I do wish that there would have been more. Like I would have hated it when it was happening, but I would be better off now had there been more of that maybe in class on just public speaking. It's
Yeah.
it's weird that it's what is that, like people would rather die than public speak or something like that. Like
Yeah.
it's one of the fears.
And it's one of those things that it must just happen over time. Because if you've ever talked to, I mean, some toddlers are like more shy than others, but they'll just not even real sentence structure. They'll just
No.
yap, and you're
They're
like,
just going.
interesting. But like you can feel the like they're interested in this thing, or like if they have like a toy or a show that they like, and they're just talking about it, and they'll just
Yeah.
go. And then I think as you get through more like instructional periods of time in school, where you know the times that you talk out loud, or like someone asking you a question that you might not know, your confidence level kind of breaks down. But I mean, even in senior year of high school, I took a public speaking class, and one of our like, I think we had like 4 or 5 speeches throughout the semester. One of them was, it was impromptu, so not pre-planned, anything like that. And our teacher had us, I think maybe we picked topics out of a hat or something like that. And we would have to talk about it for like 2 or 3 minutes straight without pausing, without stopping, and just go. And yeah, I think you just pick topics out of a hat. And if you were lucky enough to get something that you knew about or like were semi-passionate about, like that's super easy. You're just talking about, I think I got something with Harry Potter and why I would or wouldn't want to live in the world of Harry Potter. And I just went off for to the point where like the teacher, not even like the speech, she was like, why did you go in that direction? And I was just like, no, that's just how I feel. And she was like, yeah, you did great. Like 3 minutes, but like super interesting the way you went with this. But it's something that's just like in your head and you're like, I can just talk about that forever. We do that in Barbell Club when we're just talking about a movie or something and people are just talking for minutes and you don't realize it. But
Yeah.
if you were like, now do that in front of a mic, and people are like, oh, never mind.
Yeah. It's I public speaking class in college was important to do. It's one of those things where I'm like, oh, I wish I could go back and like do it better now. There was a bunch of years ago, maybe 2019, 2018, 2019, when I was going to Hudson Valley Community College, just retaking anatomy courses to get better grades on them from what I did when I was actually going to school, because I was debating about going back to school for higher learning. So I needed to get those grades up. And, you know, it was almost like I was like the other adult in the room, you know, so it's like different now because I was definitely the oldest one there. And also I have the, outside of the professor, the most life experience. And by that point, like I've written books, I've done a lot of things. So when they're like, does anyone want to explain, you know, all the structures on the knee? They had a little knee, you know, model there. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And I'm like, well, this is that, that's that, blah, blah, blah. And I named them off. Then I named off like some other extra stuff that I knew. And everyone was like, how do you do? I'm like, I'm just talking about stuff I know and that I like to talk about. Like it's, and that was like impromptu, no prep for it or anything.
Yeah.
But it's funny how like you go back, it puts yourself like in their shoes and you see on the syllabus, oh, mid-semester in a couple weeks, you have to give this presentation. And that might cause someone to have a lot of anxiety. And I guess the way that I would, well, I didn't really have to overcome it. But like when I went back to school, I was always like answering questions or doing. So I'm like a constant voice in the room.
Right.
And if I were to go back, I would maybe try to do that again. I would raise my hand more and be talking to the group more. And then I think it would make it easier to now just flip around, you know, and have to give a presentation because like, all right, I'm always, every day we come in here, I'm always talking. So talking in front of you people is no problem, as opposed to going the entire semester without saying a word. And this is when everyone's going to hear my voice for the first time. So that would be cool to, well, I guess I don't really have to go back and redo it because I kind of already did it in a small sense. But I was like, wow, that like, SUNY Cortland James would not have been able to do this. To like, he would have known all the structures on the knee, but he's not even going to volunteer to be like, like he's still tired from playing Fallout 3 all night. Like
Mhm.
we're lucky we got here, But now this James is just like, oh yeah, that's what that is. That's what that is. That's what this does. It's just funny how things you can change it.
Yeah.
You can change it. It's gonna take a lot of practice. I do 100% get the thing of like if it's the first time you're talking for the day or something, like that would be a total mistake. Like if you just chilled in your apartment all day and then went when it was time, then start chatting with people, that would be not as good, because I did that just this past that past weekend. The weightlifting event day, I'm wearing my suit. I'm feeling good. I'm looking good. It changes everything. People are like, "Whoa!" Like the suit looks great. So I'm like already getting all these compliments. Then I got on the microphone. Welcome to the Central New York Weightlifting Regional Open. Blah blah blah. All these. It's just very smooth. It just starts, and then it's like, all right, now I'm in charge. No, you can't tell me anything. No, you like this is what's happening. I'm the boss. So, but then the next day, I'm tired. I woke up later. I'm in regular gym clothes. And then, I got there maybe 20 minutes before the event. Frank and I are talking. And then not long after that, I got to be on the mic explaining the first event. And it just didn't feel as smooth as the other two. Like I'm still waking up. They're still waking up. I'm trying to get my voice back. So it would have been nice had I had time and maybe what I've done, what I mentioned last time we talked, it like spoke out loud in the car at least. Like I didn't do any of that. I just got there and just rolled out of the car. I'm like, all right, let's get going. But by the time event 2 and 3 comes, all right, I literally just for 3 heats was just talking. So now I'm warmed up to do it. So warming up is definitely important for public speaking. You got to stretch. You got to stretch the vocal cords and the your mind too. Like I didn't have a list of the team names beforehand. So it's like, all right, I'm trying to figure out how to say them or any funny jokes that could possibly pop up with some of those team names. There was one team, Team Potato, and they had the T-shirts. They had actual physical potatoes with googly eyes on them.
Nice.
And it's a whole thing. So it's like, throughout the day, like just love saying, potato is over here. It's like a running joke. You can keep going and you can keep adding to it. At one point, I asked them, like, are you guys a baked potato now? They're like, no, we're mashed potatoes now. And I'm like, all right, because the type of potato changed throughout the day based on the workouts. So, yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I know anyone listening, if you hate public speaking, it's one of those things where, what's another example of like you think you're going to hate it, but then like once you actually get into it, you're like, I love it. Like I'm trying to think of something else, like food or another activity. It's one of those things where your mom wants you to eat it all the time. You're like, no, I hate it. And then you're like, now you can't imagine not having it,
I mean, this one is, no, I think it's maybe on the same level, running. Because I mean, I can see that. Because I think people have the same kind of reactions to public speaking and running where they're like, no matter what you say, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I'd rather die.
Yeah. And then some people will still hate it. But yeah, I think when you get, like, I've had my stints of like running. And when you're like in it, it can be enjoyable. Yeah. And you're like, oh, because I do this now. It's not like I'm going out and forcing myself to do it. Now I'm like, oh, yeah, I run. So running is fine.
In the beginning, it's clunky. You can only go a very short distance, maybe, otherwise, or maybe you push further and you get hurt. But you don't really feel the endorphins the way you do when you hit the groove. And you've been doing it for a few months. And then you go on those runs where, oh, man, I finished my distance or my time. Let me keep going. Like that's like you reach that next level. And the playlist is just perfect, and it just feels good. Yeah, I think that's a great equivalent. In the beginning, they're both clunky and they hurt for different ways, and they're awkward and uncomfortable. But once you get in a groove and get past a certain barrier, it's all flow and zone and everything. So yeah, it's just like that. So it just takes I think practice and time. Beyonce concert was good.
Oh yeah.
Saw Beyonce last night, right?
Yeah, it's. I've been thinking about it. It's interesting. It's like a really heady movie, I guess, where there's just so much going on
Oh.
that you're just trying to absorb everything. Um, but yeah, obviously, like really great show, really great artist. Clearly takes a lot of time to like create and choreograph and mend things together. Like you can tell everything was very intentional, which I really appreciate.
Who
But
else
yeah,
was there?
just
Anyone else performing with her?
no, not like other artists, but like all her dancers and stuff like that. Like her daughters come up on stage and
Mhm.
dance and all that stuff too. But
Did you see
yeah,
Jay-Z?
no,
A
I
glimpse?
was hoping where I was like,
Ah,
that would be great, a New York show.
come on, just come on out and wave goodbye to everybody.
Right.
Ah,
Um,
it's like you didn't pay for that ticket.
but yeah, no, it was a great show. That's yeah.
Okay, I
Now
was
the month
when,
of May is like calming
complete.
down a little bit. Yeah.
When I was thinking about that yesterday, that oh, Miguel's at Beyonce right now. I was putting the thoughts out there. I'm like, I hope he sees Jay-Z, like, because I'm like, oh, he should be there because Beyonce's there.
Mhm.
But it could also be like he's like, I'm gonna stay home at the mansion and just go on out there, do your
Yeah.
show. And like they've done a million of them, so I could totally
Yeah.
see that too. It's not like it's the Super Bowl. It's like, all right, I'll be there and support you for that. I would like to know how those type of people prep. Where it's like, all right, Beyonce, you're doing a concert at New York City at this venue, and are you doing a Super Bowl? Like, how does that for like that's different kind of public speaking. That's like
Yeah.
public performance. Like that's a
Mhm.
whole like she's not just talking, she's singing. She does add in little things probably to
Yeah.
get the crowd going, little jokes or little sayings that people know. But also there's this football like how do you deal with that? Like how do you get to that level, right, of confidence and everything? Or is she scared the whole time? Like I'd like to know.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if any of these artists ever talk about what tricks or tactics they do. Obviously, they're going to practice their routine and choreograph everything, but still, the day of must be intense.
Yeah.
Especially because like you got to wait all day until 7 o'clock at night in whatever quarter after this second quarter, and then all right, now you're on now.
Yeah.
And maybe the game's going well or something like that. Like you also don't want to be the thing in the news the next day, which that seems to be like a common thing. Like how is everyone now like a music expert commenting on the halftime show? Like the halftime show is just a halftime show. It's another stupid product of social media, right?
That's a funny point because now that I think about it, obviously Kendrick performed at the Super Bowl this past year, and I saw him a couple weeks ago. And
okay.
And then Beyonce has done the Super Bowl. She's also done, I think, like the Christmas game, performed during the Christmas game, which is another big time. And you see those performances, and then you see like what they do on tour, and you're like, dare I say, the Super Bowl is probably like a rehearsal for their actual tour because it's so much shorter. They get 15 minutes in the Super Bowl, and it takes
And
2
you got
hours
to cram in
plus.
all the hits.
Right. So, I mean, like, yeah, probably the biggest thing for them is the like public scrutiny of like people who don't know music are now commenting on music for a week and a half after. But overall, they're probably like, this is nothing compared to like what I do normally. Because they perform at like the same stadiums.
When Eminem and 50 Cent and Dr. Dre and I think Snoop Dogg was there, when they all came out, they played like 30 seconds of each hit or something.
Yeah.
And no one complained, like we were just happy to hear it a little bit. And also remember, oh yeah, that song. Like when In the Club starts playing and 50 Cent's Upside, I think that was the one.
Yeah.
The one thing, but I still, it's more funny. It's funny anyway you slice it. And it's also cool because he's the only person even on that stage that could probably get away with it. Like you're not going to put Eminem upside down. That would be weird. You're certainly not going to do that with, all right, maybe Snoop could pull it off, but he was like the perfect one. Whoever said, we're gonna put you upside down. It just worked. And then the only thing they had to critique after that was, all right, the size of his tank top, because maybe he's a little bit, but he's an older man now.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want him to not come out? Because he can not come out. He doesn't need to. He's got money. So you can either shut your mouth and let him come out and be grateful, or you could just not see him, I guess.
Yeah.
So but that's all they had to complain about. And then I don't even know the whole thing with this year. Like, I saw bits and pieces of it. I thought it was fine. I don't understand the critiques. It was kind of he was playing to his audience, like having the Xbox. It was either Xbox or PlayStation remote.
Yeah.
Like, all right, that's kind of a cool idea, because everybody who's probably watching and actually cares and listens, they're also playing their Xbox all night. That's what they're going to do after the game. Like I don't know. I thought it makes sense. And then video games and football are pretty tight with all the game, like the games. So I thought that was a cool idea. I don't know. Was that something people complained about for that one?
No, it got a little bit more.
Okay, see,
as
I
you
don't
expect.
Well,
but
and also, I don't know the whole story of it, like the beef between him and Drake. But if there's any part of the performance he had to nail, it was that one. And I saw that, and I'm like, he didn't mess it up. Like, that would be embarrassing if he messed it up, and that would be something to be like, see, you tried too hard. But no, he got him. And I don't think, are they going to ever ask Drake to do the Super Bowl? Is he a Super Bowl level guy anymore?
You never know. I mean, he can still sell out arenas for sure.
Okay,
that's never going to be an issue. I don't know though.
So yeah, I thought it was fine. I don't know what people want anymore. Like, everyone's a critic now. It's like, all right, then you do it. It's
like, back to like, oh, can you even public speak in front of 20 people? And you're critiquing someone doing a Super Bowl show. So
it's like CrossFit. It's like every now and then you get someone who joins the gym, and it's always a guy, because it always is a guy, right? And it's like the alpha type is like, I should be in charge of this show, the whole thing, and like, oh, I would run these classes better, the program, blah blah. Then you put them, all right, try to do a whiteboard brief, and you just see it crumble. They have no idea. Like, it's like, oh, I thought it was so simple and whatnot. It's like, okay. Maybe part of your critiques with this is that we do make it look really easy, when we do. I remember way back when we had Josh, Nate, Will, and Matt, and we were practicing whiteboard briefs, and we just pulled up random workouts on a thing. And they're like, when they flipped around, they're like, I instantly didn't realize how much harder this is than I thought it was when I was standing right over there. And all I have to do is read that board. You can just look at it and read it, which makes it worse if you look at it and read it. You have to know it right behind you already. So people and their critiques. We won't even get into people and their Mission Impossible critiques. Oh, we don't have time for that. But so going back to the Central New York Regional Open, Chris crushed it. He had a PR snatch of 76 kilos. And then we went for 81 kilos, and that's the one that got away. And he was still thinking about it. It's like one of those ones where, like, he's experiencing now 2 meets in that, like, what if I did a little more? I could have got that lift, because he's only had 12 attempts total in his small career, out on actually doing the sport of weightlifting. So he's like, oh, I wish I would have done more. And then I was like, you gave, like, you could see, like you didn't continue going it. Like, you made the theatrical effort of pulling it up there and falling down, but like there was never actually an intent to hold it here, for whatever reason. And we all know that it's a trick that weightlifters know how to do, every now and then, where it's like you have to at least feign effort to get the appeasement of the crowd. All right, look, everybody, I did the ceremonial try to go under it. It's worse when, like, you just deadlift it up and you're like, all right. But then you have to, like, there's theatrics after that to just let everybody know, ooh, that got heavier than I thought, right? Like, you're never going to see anyone do that and just, like, stone face turn. There's always a little dance, that happens most of the time. So, he's going to get that next time, because we're just going to, I'm just going to keep pushing his openers where he has no choice but to make lifts. He's in that kind of fun situation right now. And then for the clean jerk, 100. And I believe his goal for the year, or maybe even his lifetime goal, I don't know, is 102. And we're like right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can't remember what he said his snatch goal is. It could be 80, but I think it should be higher than that because he's right knocking on the door as far as the life. And then, of course, if he makes his lifetime goal, let's say 90 or 91, which it should be a 100, that just bumps up the clean jerk. Like they can't both be the same.
Yeah.
Clean jerk and snatch 102. So, he's got those goals and he's only 2 kilos away. We will 100% be putting 102 on the bar at the 80K Series 1 at Round Lake. So he's definitely going to do that. PR'd his total. First place in the open category for the 81 men and second place for overall best master. So pretty darn good, And I asked him after, I'm like, are you glad you signed up? Because he wasn't sure, things like that. But it's like after a performance and result like that, that makes you feel really good about signing up. Now, had he bombed out, that might be a little bit, a little bit there. Like, why'd you talk me into doing this? I wasn't ready. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. The way training's been going, we're just going to cash out at the meet. We don't have to wait another 6 weeks or whatever, once we get into singles to cash out. All your stuff's bumping up. You're inadvertently PRing your hang lifts every single session for multiple sets because it's just naturally heavier than the week you did before because you never had a PR. So I just started you. So it just keeps getting heavier and you're doing 70 kilos from the low hang. So when we go do 76 from the floor for 1 in competition mode, it should be fine.
Yeah.
So he killed it. We did have some funny stories with Chris. For his snatch, we were going to open up at 70. And he had accidentally put down 60. And again, we were running behind on the meet, so it's very, very quick. So I just looked at the paper or the screen, and I'm like, oh, Chris is second. He's the second guy up. You got to go get ready right now. Start moving the bar, do these warm-ups, boom, boom, boom. I took bigger jumps with him than we normally do because he's ready for it. And then after, I'm like when I was like getting ready to call him, and then I think he came over. He's like, I think I put down the wrong number. And I'm like, I see that now. I see that. And that bumped him like 10 attempts away. So he was just ready. So I just had him periodically go back and snatch 60 or 50 just over and over until it was time. Because we just blitzed through his warm-up with that. And then he's like, wait a minute, I think I put 60s. And that's a big jump in a meet, 10 kilos. Yeah. So we went from being the second person to almost near the end. Mm-hmm. But I guess I'd rather be in that position than not be warmed up at all.
So how did that work? Were you on the mic during his session as well?
Yep.
So
I was on the mic.
You guys figure that?
He just would come to me and I'd be like, hey, go get started and be ready in this time frame. And then come check in with me periodically because he wasn't even in the same room. At Sona, mm-hmm. They had 2 rooms for the warm. And I told him, like, warm up in here behind me because then I can see you and stuff.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to mix it in with those guys. Like, I'm like, you got to get over that. Like, I tried to get him to get over there to start to get into that. Like, had it been one of you guys with more experience, you guys would have just either forced your way in or have just had taken over that station already for the last one, and then you're letting people work in with you kind of deal. But also with 3 people, I don't know how that would have went either because he's also he's got to learn eventually how you can't be too nice at a meet.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, okay, all of you guys take all your warm-up lifts before me. Nope. I'll be the courteous one. Like, no. Put it on the bar and take those attempts, because then that's when you start to run out of time to warm up on being the nice guy on the platform. And it's not that you're trying to be mean. It's just you're doing what you need to do. And then it's their responsibility to work in and get what they need to do, right? Like, it's not.
Yeah, because I mean, like, even everyone kind of has the same system for like warming up of like, all right, in 2 or 3 drops we go. And you might be on the same kind of go as somebody, like, like we'll hear a drop and you'll point to us. And even within our team, how fast that lift happens after you point to us is very variable. Yeah. So you might be sharing a platform with someone who's going on the same like drops as you, but they might take 2 minutes to go after they get pointed at. They might go and grab chalk and then like fix something and then wrap their knees or whatever, while you're like, okay, I'm ready. I'll just, do
Yeah.
you mind if I slide these like fives on, or like take this little thing off and go quick, and then I'll put your weights back on? So yeah,
Yeah. Some
you
people
got to
have
figure out.
that extended ritual. I always hate, but for me, if I'm lifting, being in a situation where maybe I'm sharing a bar and I'm going to go up way earlier and they're going way later, and they really don't need to be warming up now, but they're
Mhm.
like all over the bar. And it's like, dude, like I'm going to be the second person called here in 5 minutes. Why are you up to the reds already? Like, why? What are you doing? And
Yeah.
it's just because their coach likes to have them start warming up on the weight, 27 attempts or 35 minutes out. And it's like, oh, weird, different system than what we do. And it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to be ready like that. Like
Mhm.
I need to do it the way we do it. But then it's like, all right, now I have to take the 70s off and put my plates on. And it's like, so I hate being in that situation, you know.
Yeah.
That's like whenever we're on a platform, we like being with those people that are going to go first, because we're just going to wait until they're done.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then it's our platform, and we don't have to be in their way. They don't have to be in our way. But so that's always like a pet peeve of mine, when they're going to be the last person lifting, and they got to be putting weights on right
Mhm.
now when I'm going. It's like, just I'll be gone in just a little bit. Just let me
Yeah.
hit these weights. Come on. The 100 was awesome, you know. And that was all his clean jerks were done without a belt. Right, we had a whole conversation right before 100. I'm like, should I put the belt on or not? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, how about let's just keep it the same. It's fine. If you feel like you need it, just put it on. But otherwise, just go out without it. For the clean and jerk, we actually knew when he was going to go, and I told him, okay, go and start doing your bar work. This is when there was just a little bit of downtime. And then I was at the table, just make sure everything's set. And I'm like, all right, let me go to the bathroom real quick, because I don't know when I'm going to be able to move again. And as I was walking by, this was like 8 minutes later or something like that. He had the bar propped up like a staff, and he was just talking to someone. And I was like, Chris, have you started your bar? It's like, because he's chatty, you know. So he had gone over there and hadn't done anything yet. And then I went to the bathroom and I went back, and we were like 2 or 3 lifts in, and he comes up to me. He's like, all right, I did all my warm-ups. And I'm like, oh, already? Because now, like, so he's
Yeah.
taking giant jumps. He's like, yeah, I did it like on an EMOM style. And I'm like, all right, we didn't have to do that. But you know what? I'm not back there. So I'm just glad that I'm just glad that you're done. And it all worked out, because we got some awesome big PRs and push the needle forward, and we'll keep doing that. But it's just funny with the new people on, like again, if I send you, Shav, Haley off, Jennifer, I can generally trust what's supposed to be happening is happening, you know. Like, I'm not gonna like find out that you're not warmed up because you were having a conversation and you forgot. That's not going to happen. Not going to happen. If anything, you're like mean mugging people and being antisocial, you know,
Right.
and because you're focusing on this. So, but I can trust that something's happening, you know. But with like the newer people, you don't know what you're going to get. Like, they're going to be warmed up in 30 seconds and blitz through all their lifts, or they're not going to be ready, and you're like, what is happening over there?
Yeah.
And it's just even harder when you can't see through the wall, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Chris did great. Frank ran an awesome meet. It was a lot of fun. Our friends from Sona Weightlifting hit a lot of great, awesome big lifts, so that was great to see. And Haley marshaled for the first time.
Nice.
And not only marshal for the first time, but a solo marshaling, essentially, where you have to fill out the card and do the computer at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's hard, because it would have been a lot harder had the sessions been bigger and there was a lot more competition with coaches flooding the table.
Yeah.
Because you got to mark that card. The card has to be marked. But then if it doesn't go in the computer, no one knows that they're going to take that lift. So you have to do both, and you don't want a situation where you miss one and the weight goes above and the coach is like, no, look, I signed the card. And look, it says 60 for my lifter, and we're already at 70. Like, you don't want situations like that to happen. They do happen from time to time, but we didn't. Haley was crushing it. So
Nice.
And she said she enjoyed doing that more than reffing, because you're busy the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
versus you're reffing, you're just sitting there. It's those 2-minute clocks. They really hurt when you're sitting in the chair and you're like, wow, they're all gonna just be taking their time on this one. It's a little rough.
And you're like, when you're reffing, you're directly in front of the crowd as well. And you're like, I can't even like fidget too much because I know that people are like right behind me. Like they can see me if I'm like moving
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. It's marshaling, all that stuff is fun. If you like doing paperwork and like being involved with all that stuff, you would like marshaling. And then also, like you have to enforce the rules too. If the 30-second clock goes by, you're like, sorry, coach, can't make that call.
Yeah.
And at a local meet, it's fine. At a national meet, you might have to fight someone. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, great job, Chris. Great job, Haley. Great job, Frank. That same week, it's funny how things always happen at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Tanzira graduated, and she has now moved back to Long Island. We're trying to find her a gym as she gets settled in down there, and then she's going to keep training and still train with the team. She'll just be remotely, and others have done that. Renee did that. Still does that. She'll be back. And then Frank does that. So, yeah, she's still on the team. I wrote on her card, ACBC for life, But so congratulations to Tanzira. I don't know if we said on the show that she did graduate. Maybe we did the week before. I don't know. But it's just always funny. It's like when John left, it was right before states. Like we're packing up the car that night. So it's just funny how it's like, oh, we have to do the celebration and get that going right before an event, how things always converge on the same dates. I don't know how it happens. So she did PR on her way out, got another back squat PR, front squat PR. So great job. Speaking of PRs, boy, are we reaping the fruits of our labor on this training cycle. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's been great to see. Even when I'm not a part of it, it's really fun, honestly. I know I say it all the time, but like having the team there is such a difference, and seeing where everyone's at and like really seeing people tee off is like super cool.
Yeah. And man, they've been teeing off. I mean, we can almost like expect like, all right, there will be a squat PR coming up here, and like Alex, 227, second athlete in club history to back squat 500 pounds. That's a pretty big deal. And he also did 215 for 3. So like his back squat is going through the roof now with consistent training, and his front squat. He's also the third person. Oh no, maybe second person. Yeah. Second person to front squat, 200 kilos, which that's just another big milestone. Like the 227, 5, like you have to say 500. Like at some point it has to go back to pounds, to get the full significance of it. So like that's great. And he's finally like starting to like figure out how to use his legs on the lifts. And like the more he figures that out and holds the position we've been trying to change him to, which is more of a leggy standing straight up type of thing instead of like a stiff-legged sweep it back. Because when you probably notice now, when he goes back to that technique, that you can guarantee he's going to jump forward, especially on the cleans. You can see it, like on the ones where like he didn't quite engage his legs and just stand up with it. But he is starting to feel now, especially as we go from like a back or front squat to like his lighter snatches, where they just come right up. So the more we can refine that, the better. But so he's crushing it. Haley 130 for 3 reps on the back squat. Like it's like people are like getting into those numbers that were like fuzzy before. It's like we're always doing 103 or this or that. But now we're like up into like 2s and 3s on stuff. And your front squats and back squats were up into the 140s this time, right?
I think for 3 for the back squat, I was like 140 something.
Yeah.
So
it's like we're like, and like for the longest time, like that, just below that was like a barrier. So like everybody's barrier has like been just crushed. Like Schaff did 155 on the front squat for 3, And, that didn't happen last time we tested it. Like all his squats are going up. He's on the door, knocking on the door of repping out 180, like, cause he got like 175, I think, for the back squat, not too long ago. So I think it's going to be nice once we switch to singles. I think it'll give everybody like a break, but we can kind of we can push even further up north into those numbers. And the fact that you only have to do one after we've already done so many cycles of 5s and 3s, I think is going to help mentally on being like, oh, why wouldn't I just do one at 162 or whatever it is, or when those working sets kind of get up into like almost quasi PR territory, because we've been like, it's just been naturally happening. Like our working sets have pushed such high percentage, but like you guys, it's hard, but you're still putting down 4s, 4.5s, and 5s. Like it was hard, but doable. Like, I don't know. How do you feel this has been going for you on just like, oh yeah, that was a PR double on the low hang, but it's not the ultimate PR. It's just heavier than what I did years ago when we did it before. So like, how's that been affecting you?
There are days for sure where you're like, this just isn't a great day overall. But like when you're having a regular day, you can tell that it's like, oh, it's super interesting because they're, again, like a lot of us, maybe not a lot of us, but I know for me, like some of my numbers have just been, I haven't passed this number in any form for years. And then now, we're like so far ahead of it. So like these sets that we're doing, you're like, this is such a high percentage. And even if it's like, it'll be like 98% of like what my one rep was just a year ago or like 6 months ago, because you're like, I couldn't get above like 120s for squats in a very long time. And now it's like, oh yeah, working sets are here.
We're taking enormous jumps, like, oh, Miguel, go 100 to 120. Like, we're taking big jumps on even the front squat.
Yeah.
And we're doing it with such regularity, too, that when we are going to, like, max out, I'm fine with putting down, like, okay, just like this past week when we maxed out the hangs and from the floor. All right, 2 warm-ups, and then this third lift is a PR on the clean jerk. Like, because we've already done all the 64, 67, 70. We've already done that for 3 sets of 2. Like, we've already done so much work, right? So much work. And when I was feeling peaked and feeling strong, when it was time to max out, I would just start skipping the prerequisite numbers that you must hit this before that. It's like, no, why wouldn't I go 135 to 225 on the back squat? Do I need to hit 155, 85, 205 to build, unless I want to get the volume in and just do it for the sake of doing it. But I'm like, let's just take gigantic jumps and see if I could do it, and save some energy for the top end.
Yeah.
So I think
I've been doing like weird numbers too. Sometimes it helps to have like a full day where there's 9 of us, because then I just grab whatever, being in front of the plates, I just grab whatever is there. Even if someone's like, oh, I have like 2 reds over here. And I'm like, it's fine. Yeah. Like, I'll just make a jump that's like, what do we do on Friday? 24 kilos? Like, or like a weird, like, okay, 17 kilos. I'm making a 17 kilo jump. This is a number I've probably never hit before because it's just like a weird in-betweeny number. Like, why would I ever do this? But just making my jumps like that too has just been, it takes kind of like the mental out of it, because you're like, this is such a weird number. Yeah. There's no significance here.
Yeah, we're taking jumps. And you know what? Let's say something happens. We're way behind. All right, Miguel clean jerk, 70-90. Boom. Like, cut out some of the middle fluff. Like, it's didn't you just go 70-93?
94, yeah.
So a 24 kilo jump for a clean jerk double. And we made that, right?
Yeah.
Made double. So it's like, all right, now we just know you can do that. Is it best practice? Should we do it on purpose? Maybe not, but if we had to, that's a better situation of being the lifter. Like, oh, coach, I have to hit 80. Like, I didn't hit 80. Like, oh no, what are we going to do? That's too big of a jump, and then it's mentally in your head now when we don't need it to be, And I mean, you guys remember when Trey came to town, 71-10 or whatever it was, like those enormous jumps, and then just 2 jumps, and then he was at his opener. Like, I think that was the first time we really experienced something like that. I'm like, wait a minute, he's not gonna really warm it up at all. And you get nervous when you see that. Haley, we went 55, 65, 75, right? Oh no, 55 to 65, I think, on the snatch. And I don't think neither one of us thought that she's taken that jump before. There's always like a 60, then a 63, or a 60, 65, but 55 to 65. But we got to eventually, right?
Yeah.
Like, we have to eventually get rid of that. If we're going to be snatching into the 80s, it'd be way better to start at 45 instead of 35, which I'm trying to start Haley, especially now we go into singles, start some of you guys with the next plate up, because all right, we don't really need 35 anymore. It helped us do so much, but now if we go 45, 55, 65, and then boom, we're into things, even 75, that's huge. Just to cut things down and to, not have to worry about too many plate changes in the warm-up room, because that could be tough.
Especially if you can do it for doubles, then it's like, when we need to, then absolutely you can do those bigger jumps.
Exactly. I hope that for everyone that was there last week, that all of what we did should have boosted the confidence. Like, because one, you guys were hitting weights from the low hang and the mid thigh that are regular weights in our series of things for doubles from those positions. And then when we went from the floor, we were taking big jumps, and you got like Schaff went, I think, 92 to 102 for a double on the snatch. Holy crap. Like Schaff just went, was a Super Saiyan, right? Let me know if that's the thing, Schaff. He's listening right now. He's listening. But like, he hit 100 all 3 days. I don't know. I can't remember if there's ever been a week where Schaff snatched 100 every single session. And not only did he do it, but he did on the low hang 100 for a double from the low hang, which is a PR. Then he did from the mid thigh 102, which is above his old 1 rep max. So he's doubling his old 1 rep max from some of these hang positions and taking 10 kilo jumps, 92 to 102, gigantic jumps. And then from the floor, he hit 101 or something like that. And then he hit 105, which 105 was his PR around this time last year. Like, that's pretty darn good. And that 105, the 101 or 102, whatever it was before, was a little shaky. But that 105, when he was right in place and just stood up with it for the double, no have to walk it out or anything, man, it's a nice lift. Wait till I post it. I'm posting all the hangs together right now. Just because it's just good to keep them together. But then the ones from the floor will be separate videos. So yeah, he's crushing it. Like, and then Alex is crushing it right behind him. They're feeding off that energy. Alex doubled from the floor 103, which was a PR last summer, and 137 was also a PR. And he got that, and then he brought up how he famously missed 137 his first time, and then he had to come in and do the 5x5 back squats on Saturday. So Haley doubled 70 on the snatch. That's huge. Like, set like that, her PR was 69 before, but there's like that 7 barrier, and we're just cracking into it a little more because her PR is 78, so she has doubled 2 kilos under her 1 rep max. And like you said, for not ever, like, by the time we got to the end of the week, everyone was a little cooked. So like, I think fresher Haley could do even more for a double if it's a good day. Not that it wasn't a good day, but on the mid thigh, she snatched 70 for a double, Miguel, from the mid thigh. So she snatched 70 twice in the same week. So that's why I said during class, I'm like, it's almost like it's working. It's all working. Now when you think about all that, like, you're seeing everyone progress, like, does it make like all the hollow rocks, all the little ATY, like every little thing, just a little more worth it, where you're like, all right,
Yeah,
if we're
and I
cashing
mean,
out like this,
I always think about it like that too, or it's like when we're at meets and everything, because it's you're in the same room as them, and I know you definitely feel it as like more the coach, but yeah, being in there with everyone and seeing the work that everyone does, it's good to see it pay off because you're like, yeah, I've known that you can do it. Sometimes it's like the person who does it is probably the last person who knows that they could do it
yeah,
because yeah, like we watch every one of us, like we watch each other now, and yeah, you look around and you're like, yeah, dude, you can easily do that. One, even if I can't tell like from the previous warm up that you did or whatever, it's like I've seen the work that you've been putting in this entire cycle. You should be able to put whatever you want on the bar and get it because that's
yeah,
the hard work that we've been putting in.
yeah. And even Jennifer being up at 3:30 a.m. coming
Yeah,
in and snatching a snatch double PR and getting very close high percentage on the clean jerk. Like that's definitely going to be the villain when you're in that kind of a tired state. The clean jerk just sucks the life out of you. On just like, do I even have the will to just turn it over right there? Like,
yeah, and I think some days it's even like the ability to get to that weight that you're like the weight I've put on the bar now is a PR.
yeah,
Like I think with all of our what was it, our low hang clean and jerks, I think it was me, Haley, and Schaff. Like we all missed our second rep on
hmm,
like our final ones that we did, but they
yeah,
were like, all right, these are like almost hero weights right now. Where it's like, I
yeah.
think after everyone missed, they were like, I'm totally good with that. Like that was insane that I was even able to like go for that second rep.
Well, and that's why I've been putting in the write ups and showing the video too on those misses. Even though you missed the second rep, the first one was a one rep max.
Yeah,
Like Schaaf's mid thigh 130, I think it was mid thigh, was a one rep max. Like it was like 4 or 5 kilos above his old PR.
yeah,
Like, and he was trying to double it. And then when you watch the video, when he's got it overhead, when he brings it back down, it looks so strong.
yep,
And that's what you like to see too, because that's the hard part about a lot of these doubles. The bar is on you for so long,
yeah,
and we're not doing it the cheapy way of hitting a mid thigh snatch, dropping it, deadlifting it up, then going for mid thigh again. We're really trying not to do that, and because of all the strength that you lose by not just holding on to it, like,
yeah,
and it's like all of that is all strength work, and just on every clean or every jerk bringing it back down, then having to clean it again, it's also mental strength, like just sneaking under that bar. Everyone's bars have been so low, no
yeah.
one's pulling that bar high, which is good. We do not want to be a high bar team. Like
Right.
that bar, the lower it is, the we are, if you look at people, we are a fast team.
Yeah.
Like I see people watch you guys and they're like, how do I be fast like that? Like you guys are fast.
Hmm.
And then do you ever watch other people lift and you're like, it's so slow. Like I don't know how they have time to do all that.
It's definitely an our team thing for sure that I've noticed. Like all of us now. Like there was like obviously before when I was like first starting out, that was like all I had was like
Yeah,
speed under. But yeah, now everyone's fast. Like even hearing like when we warm up, when we do like tall snatches and like tall cleans and all that stuff, and just hearing the feet hit and going like, oh, everyone's kind of at the same speed now. Like
yeah,
we're all getting under very
yeah.
quickly.
And it's something we talk about. Like when we are doing the tall snatches stuff, I'll tell all of you guys, stay fast, fast hands, fast feet, faster on this next one. And when on your cards, some of you guys have speed on the card, or things that would help contribute to your speed. Like with Schaff, sometimes, with Schaff, we've been really working on bar contact.
Hmm.
And it's not something that you have to work with on everybody. Some people just naturally happens and it's enough. But with Schaff, I feel like he is a lifter where he would benefit from intentionally trying to hit it hard and then
Hmm.
working with the reactivity of the bar. And it's gone a long way. But like part of that is like if you want to be able to hit it hard, we have to have active shoulders and you have to set your back instead of, being a little here. And so active shoulders and speed or hard contact or drive it back are always on his card. And there's some of you guys where the thing you're working on is for A and B. Like there is no separate thing for the jerk. It's like I just write it in the middle. So for shop, it's like active shoulder. Like that's all we need to do, because that's going to help the bar not kick away from you. That's going to help you drive it back harder, and then you'll extend better. So it's like we've really narrowed down the things that we need to work on with each person. Yeah, and it'll keep resetting. But boy, everyone's getting so good.
Yeah.
Somebody call USADA. There's something floating around the room there. But it's great to see. And we have a second half of this training cycle to do where things, next week we have an off week, we're going to chill. Some of you guys are going to do Memorial Day Murph, and you're going to feel that. But luckily, Wednesday's purely upper body day. We're not squatting, giving everybody a break on the squats. We'll shoulder press, push jerk. All off the rack, build up to something heavy for the day, nothing crazy, right? And just kind of work on those skills. Then Friday, we'll do the other total: max overhead squat, clean, and bench press. So overhead squat, just kind of play. It's fun to play around with every now and then. You guys tend to hate it, but it's just good to see like wow, because last time we did it in the winter, Haley snatch bouncing and overhead squatting in the 80s. And that was like the first harbinger of like, okay, like, look, you can hold that over your head. And really for you, it would be easier to pull it from the floor and get it up there, than to have to push jerk it up and whatnot. So it's like, it's good to get like just a little bit of like, that was my first time holding that overhead with a wide grip. So it doesn't have to be a mainstay in our program, but every now and then a friend that comes to maybe help out. Yeah. Which it also could not help out, but depending on the day. And then I think it's fun to have a day where we just go crazy on the clean without the jerk, because the mindset changes. Yeah. Just to be like, all right, wow, Miguel's got 130 on the bar. Let's try. Because your clean is already 120. So it's like that would be a day just to put things on the bar and see what they feel like, and gain confidence that way. And then the bench press is just for fun. Just let's bench press. So I think that'll be good. And then we'll get back to our regularly scheduled program the next week. Yeah. And we're on to singles. I believe with the squats too. I got to double check. But I think it's all singles now. And we'll just keep going crazy. We'll peak. We'll do the Avitas meet. And then we'll only have like 5 or 6 weeks, like not long before states. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Even though it'll be July 27th. It's only 2 months away. Like the end of September from the end of July is, I don't know. When you're like a kid, you don't think like that. But now, like just looking at it on the calendar, you're like, whoa, like that's gonna be so fast. And it's like, oh, I have just enough time. But like, imagine if you weren't preparing or thinking about it, like you think you have time, and like you really don't. I bet people get in trouble like that all the time when they don't feel prepared. So yeah, training cycle's going great. Team's killing it. Our new people are killing it. You can kind of see them getting into the fold now and like understanding things and getting better. Right, Rebecca's jerk, getting the head through now. You know, just had to be like that's the focus every time. It's boom, 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 head through. So yeah, any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, team is looking good.
Team is looking good, and then. We'll see what happens at this next meet. I think we're putting some weights on the bar this next meet, so we'll see. And then you got to decide if you're gonna.
I'm still TBD until the very last second.
Oh boy! All right. Did you see that video of Mark Henry that I sent you?
Yeah, I feel like I've seen. I don't know if is it a part of a bigger documentary? I've definitely seen it a few times. I feel
it's a clip. I saw that one night. It like popped up onto YouTube, and I was like, that's so awesome. Like that pumps me up. Like he's such an incredible athlete. Like he would be worth like just talking about for an entire podcast. Just like look up stuff from Mark Henry. But in the clip, he's talking about how he had won the World's Strongest Man before, and then he starts, he was out of the scene, and in the WWE they were saying Mark Henry, the world's strongest man. That was part of his gimmick. And then he had been out of the strongman scene for a little bit, and then those guys were saying, "Oh, you're saying you're the world's strongest man, but you're not here with us competing," type of thing. And I believe it was Zydrunas Savickas. He's Kat's favorite strongman, and I saw him at the Arnold once. Holy crap! Like, just you don't see someone that tall and big often,
Right.
and it's crazy. I literally walked right by him, and I was like, "That is the biggest person I've ever been this close to in my life." And could you just imagine? See, back in the day, in a village, people were our height or shorter, and you're just there farming, and then 10 guys like that show up with like us, and it's like, holy cow, what are you gonna do? Like, you run. Like, it's just like, I can't even imagine that, how scary that would be. Like, people that you're like, oh, there are the giants, there are the ice giants, like, the holy cow, they're real and they're here, and we should all run or they're gonna kill us. They were strongman people were talking crap, and Mark Henry said to Vince, he's like, "Hey, I'd like to go and compete in that again." Because like he says it in the thing, but like he's like the Michael Jordan of strength, and like we can't forget that he had already crushed it in powerlifting, and he's an Olympian in weightlifting, and one of the top supers along with Shane Hammond. They used to go toe to toe all the time, and they used to almost come to blows in the weight room at the Olympic Training Center, because you just have these two just big personalities lifting the same weights. They're both competing to be on the team, and then just someone says something, and then just stuff's gonna happen, right? So Vince tells him, "Okay, you don't have anything to prove, but I'll let you do it." Which, oh wow, like because I like. You're just very surprised when Vince McMahon lets any of these guys do anything. He's very, very tightly controlled. But for whatever reason, he thought that this would be a good idea. And he tells Mark Henry, though, he says, "Hey, you can go and do it, but there's no place here for the world's second strongest man." And oh boy, can you imagine hearing that? Like, I feel like Mark Henry's the only person that can hear that and then be like, you know what? He says it in the thing, all the other competitors, they're toast right now. Like, I am not going to lose, because he told him, was like, you either win or you don't come back. Like, you're not the world's strongest man anymore. That's what we're billing you as. You're going to ruin your whole gimmick. You're fired if you don't win it. And then also, Mark Henry's mother had just recently passed away too. Those people didn't stand a chance in that competition. I don't know. That's a story. Just pumps me up. Like, it's inspiring. It's motivational, and it's just like that was like, he knew his ability, but also his mental game. Like, his mother just passed away, and Vince McMahon just said, "Hey, there's no place here for the second strong." Like, wow, no place for second, and like he just showed up and won it again. Like, oh, what do you think about all that?
Yeah, I think it's something that I've been saying for a while too, about just like knowing what you're about. Like, if you do the thing and you know you are the thing, nothing anybody else says can alter that. Like, if you know that you're like, okay, but I have the skill. There's one thing to like people think, and then people know, like, where you're like, well, based off what I've been doing, I should be able to. I think I'm better than, but like, no, some people just know, where you're like, okay, you can say all that, but I know what I've been doing, and I know how that relates to what you've been doing, and I know how good I am. So I'm just going to go and show that.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, the external factors of like motivation and stuff just made it so that he crushed them. But I mean, I think in the way that he was going to win anyway. The external factors just made it so that he did it more convincingly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the biggest part, where I'm just like, know what you're about. It's the same thing like with our team and training. Like, when you do the work, you know, where you're like, I know I should be able to hit this. Like, we've been PRing week to week just in working sets and stuff like that. So why wouldn't I be able to hit this? Like, this is what I do. This is like my job. This is my sport. I'm
Yeah.
going to do this.
And you can kind of see some of the newer people on the team, like they're gonna have to figure that out eventually. Like with Chris, there's a lot of uncertainty.
Hmm.
On like oh, should I go up to that, or can I make this? Do I need my belt or not? Versus like you guys who like have been through it for so long. Oh, my belt is left in the car. I guess I just need to make it without the belt. Like there's a whole, like there's no issues there per se. It's just you're used to winning, and that's kind of like a good aspect of like when we do go for PRs and we see them, like every PR is a win, and when we get into that mode of like, well, these working sets are PRs, and it's just everything you do, you're like, oh, I just did that for 3 sets of 2, and I've never done that before. Like
Yep.
there's like we could nitpick everything on like the multitude of PRs or first time things that happen. After a while, we do it so often, it just gets hard to keep track of all of it. Where
Yeah.
it's like we just got the big ones. Like I'd even put on some of the write-ups that I put up recently for the hang lifts on like, oh yeah, and they broke the total a second time. They're double total, like because I just assumed at this point,
Yeah.
because you broke the total the last 5 weeks too, So it's like everything we do, we're winning, and then you just carry all that confidence into the meet with you, or at least you should. Versus like the newer people like Chris, who are like, the one that got away 81, it's like, well, all right, it's different, but like
Yeah.
he'll learn the more he gets into it. Like to see him from the 80K regional to the CNY regional, like you can already see he's starting to level up a little bit.
Yeah.
That first one was like, oh, I'm in a singlet for the first time. How weird, and
Mhm.
all the jokes. And now like that's gone. We've moved on past that.
Yeah, I was even telling Alex the other day because he was talking about how he needs to stretch now. And I was like, you're lucky you came into this team at the time you did, because now we're all at a point where we're all like, we have to do all of these things to make sure that our lifting is good still. Whereas, like, when we started, you're still figuring it out and you don't know. And even like you're more elastic and you're a little bit more reckless with things, but yeah, you still have that uncertainty because you don't have those reps in where you're like, I really don't know, does this make a difference, does this not, what does this thing feel like when it's this or that? But yeah, over time you get that idea of like, this is exactly what it is because
Yeah.
I've been putting in the work, I know what I do. Yeah, our team, even without like actual wins, we are all like winners in mindset, I think, where we're all like prepared to win, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you all have enough medals to feel that way.
Right.
Or like little like other things like a record or this or that, or even, you know, I I think it's definitely, I feel it's part of my role to speak the team propaganda, if you will. Like it's kind of like how I told you guys how Abaziev used to talk to his lifters and be like you're doing this for the motherland. Like this is for
Mhm.
your family, your team, and also by the way, if you don't do it, there's going to be consequences. Like things like that. But it's like when I post the videos and like hype you guys up, like you guys have been being fluffed up for years.
Yeah.
And also when there's like, what a shame it would be to not point out the historical things on
Mhm.
like oh, not only did Haley back squat 300 pounds or plus, but she now holds the record in the club to do that. Like that's that, even though she may not realize it, it does put another feather in her cap. So
Yeah.
like I've just been like putting feathers in everyone's cap, as much as possible. And like with Alex, like, hey, just point out, like it's easy. Propaganda is probably not the right word, but it's the word
No, I
that's
mean
in my head right
it's
now.
correct, and it's yeah, no,
But
for
it's
sure.
like to this little group, like it's like, because like no doubt it affects him psychologically. Say, hey, by the way, you're the second person in the club history in over 10 years and everything to be able to do this. This is a big deal of what you've been doing. You should be
Yeah.
proud of this, and you should keep you should keep going up, and look at the results we're having. Like even sitting down with you guys and like going over your attendance and other things. I have a new thing that I'm trying to do where it'll show us like from January to now how many kilos you've put on your squats, for XYZ. But it's also like showing you the results constantly of your hard effort, because when you're going through horrible times in training, and because it is hard, and you're doing the hollow rocks, and then we're doing fives on the back squat, and it's just all miserable, and it's hot in the room, the fan's not on, and you feel blah and whatnot. It's just like you need a constant reminder of like, look, it's working,
right.
kind of a deal.
Yeah, it's not to like make a big head in any of us. It's to like it's a reminder of like, yeah, this is what we do. Like same thing with Mark Henry, where it's like, yeah, you could listen to what those guys are saying, or you could look very clearly at your history and go, wait, none of these guys are even close to me. Like,
yeah,
there's no shot that. But like, if you allow what they're saying to like get to you, that is how you kind of like, yeah, let me go in and just try to compete with them and just show that I am one of them. Like he wasn't one of them. Like he's way above them.
He's
and
the
that,
man.
That was the whole thing of like going back and being like, oh yeah, this is not anything to me.
And then now after that, he doesn't ever have to come back. He keep like,
right.
I came back. You talked your trash. I came back. I'm still the world's strongest man. I always will be. You can have it now. It's yours. Yep. It's beneath me. I'll be over there making millions of dollars at WrestleMania and other things. You can have this.
And
have
now
fun
in your
training.
Head, you're going like, I am the world's strongest man because Mark Henry didn't compete this year. Like that's in their head where they're like, oh yeah. Yep.
Like I've never seen any of the team propaganda that I've done lead to a big ego in like a negative way, where like because it's paired with the team camaraderie and all that stuff, and you guys also stay humble by working at meets and doing things like that. It'd be totally different if we had someone on the team who didn't train with all of us that I hyped up that way, and they also never did any of those other things or mix it in. And then you could see how they're kind of like an island. Like there's still no island. We're still all on this, it's we're like a little tiny island where the competition for survival is high. So like we're like Skull Island, like it's just like there's this full of creatures, but like it's so dangerous to live there. Everybody's got to be super lethal.
Right.
So that's kind of like how we are. Where I do feel like it would be completely different if everybody trained separately, even if we were training in the same room on separate programs. It would be a little bit different. Like it's just the right mixture of everything going on.
Yeah.
And then we have our wholesome moments, like when someone graduates from college or has a baby. Like we celebrate our life PRs too, to remind everyone, hey, we're all human. We're all, and we're doing this for fun. And there's bigger things outside of weightlifting, so it's not all just funneled into, all right, this is Miguel's identity 100%, and if he fails with this, he's a bad person. There's none of that either. So it's working out. It's working out. So we'll keep pushing it. We'll keep raising the level there, and it's good that like it's is it a good reminder for you to see when the new people come in and they learn those lessons, to like remind yourself of like, yeah, all right, that's where I came from, and also maybe I should also think about what I am doing for my stretch, like just like a reminder.
For sure, definitely. Yeah, there's so many things. It's so great to be in a team, especially like the volume of people that we have as well. Because I mean, again, even on days where like I miss a bunch, I'm like, this isn't for me. This is for them. They need to also see that like missing is a part. Like there are days where it's like I miss a bunch, and then there are days where it's like I come in and I crush it. And yeah, it's important to see all the days from all these different people, and importance of like, hey, now that I'm a few years in, I can say, now that you're starting out, if you get the stretching in now that like that we do now that I should have been doing when I started, like you'll be so much better in the long term. Like right now, I'm like working to counteract things, and right now, you'll see. So use that, and
Yeah, and it's so important for Alex, Rebecca, Chris, the newer people to see, you guys who are a little more established missing lifts and having a really bad day. Because then, like when they have it, they're like, and it's like it's funny because like it comes up cyclically, so
Mhm.
it's like it would like we don't it doesn't have to be programmed. It happens organically, and it's like we all just understand that that's normal,
Mhm.
like that. Whereas other people could be brought to tears, and they're like sending their coach like a thesis afterwards, be like, I'm so sorry, I embarrassed you, but whatever. It's like we just know this is a part of it. Like I've never lied to you guys and said this isn't going to be absolutely horrible. Like I mean, and we have to do everything we can to keep our spirits up. Like
Yeah.
we talk about School of Champions, and we joke about it. But like in that little video clip that I posted to you guys, he's like, after Sunday training, I'm sad. I'm tired, injured, everything hurts. And it's like everything he's saying is true. It's like it's not natural to be doing this all the time.
Yeah.
And that is why your knee hurts. That is why, and so it's like these things are just normal. If you were playing football all the time, you're going to be in pain because bodies are colliding.
Yep.
I don't know what to tell you. That's what we're doing. So just it happens organically, and it's not planned. Of course, if I could hit like a button that no one has a bad day, I would probably hit that button.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've ever had a bad day that comes up like you didn't PR on Friday, and that wasn't even the baddest of the bad days.
Right.
Like we've had worse.
Yeah.
we've had worse days, but it's not like you're not getting anything out of that day. Because like when you realize I'm having a rough day and it's not a PR day and I got nothing from my legs, I just have nothing, and I'm feeling a little run down, everything. For you have to now focus in a different way.
Yep.
So the training you're doing is different than the training Shaf is doing. Shaf is feeling good, and we're going up in weights, and it's smooth. He's making adjustments. Haley is maybe feeling in between what you guys are feeling. She's hurting, aches and pains everywhere. But all right, we can keep going up, and then that second rep just sucks. And then you're at the other end of the spectrum where it's like you're like, I got nothing to put into this, a little less than everyone else. So I have to really focus and try hard on the lifts that I can make right now. Is that true?
Yeah, definitely.
And then if you're in the back of the room, I mean, she wasn't there on Friday, but if you're Rebecca, you are seeing all that and taking that in like a sponge. And you're like, oh, okay. And you start to get it more than what you did way back in January when you started. And you're like, oh, this is just like a spin class or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll just do whatever. You're like, oh no, this is a whole different ball game,
Yeah.
And she's getting a lot better and a lot more disciplined with what she's doing, just following Haley and hitting lift when Haley lifts. And then also seeing, like, all right, what Haley goes through, what you guys go through. So yeah, it's a cool thing. And with Alex, he posted in the private group, what knee sleeves should I get? And I messaged him outside of the chat. Like I gave my thoughts on it. And then I'll just say it here, right here. With the knee sleeves, I think you got to be careful, especially if you're very flexible, like he is, that too much fabric doesn't build up at the back of the knee, especially if it slides down and you're not pulling them up to actually wear them correctly. I definitely hurt my knee a lot because of that, or I got tweaks because at the bottom of my squat, I was like this because one knee sleeve was different than the other. And that's why I like the fabric wraps better, because I can aim and not cover the back of my knee and reinforce more the areas around the joint that I want to. That's why I prefer the straps. And I can also make them really, really tight, or just, I'm just warming up right now, and adjust it.
Yeah.
You just have to make sure you have time to do that. That's the only thing. But I was explaining to him, I'm like, why do you want knee sleeves? And this is something with new people all the time. You start getting into the sport and you start seeing all the equipment. And you're like, well, I have to buy all the equipment. It's like, no, you don't. Like you don't spend that money right now. But then people get bored, so they're like scrolling through Rogue Fitness,
Yeah.
scrolling through other things, and then you buy like a brand that like you probably like. Why'd you buy that one? Like you should have asked someone, right? Like or it's just not the best. Or we might be trying to put a band-aid over an underlying issue. This is what I had talked to Alex about. He's like, my right knee hurts. Well, then we should make sure that your movement is in a certain way that isn't hurting your right knee. And we should do some tissue quality work on that leg, really both legs, to loosen that up. How are you stretching outside of class? Are you foam rolling outside of class? You're lifting weights now that require the work around the training session. There's no way around it. Like you're going to be back and front squatting for over 400 pounds naturally all the time, So and then your clean jerk's just going to keep getting better and better. It's those three culprits. It's not this. I don't think it's the snatch. It's just too light, unless he gets in a crazy position and he's on his toes and has to go. So it's like
Right.
So it's like we have to keep fixing your movement, and we can't mask the underlying issue. Putting a knee sleeve on isn't the thing that takes your knee pain away.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting a Band-Aid over the boo-boo. And what I think most people do is they get the knee sleeves. It feels a little better. They think they're good, but they still don't stretch out their hip. They still don't do those things. You just bought stuff. So I try to explain that to Alex, and I'm making him now like a little, like 5 minutes. Like, how about we just do it before you go to bed? Like 5-10 minutes of just, let's really do a couple things, and boom, there you go. Because his thing is like, well, free time. I like to have free time. It's like, all right, I haven't gotten him into the dungeon far enough yet. Like we'll get there, but he still wants to have a life and free time and things like that. It's like, so I need to make sure let's place it in a spot where it's least offensive right before you go to bed. Take a shower, hop on the foam roller. At least we did that. And that will all add up. All that time will add up.
Yeah.
So we're going to work on that, but it's good to like for you from a coaching standpoint, when your athletes are like, should I get this thing? Why do you want that thing? Is it just because everyone else has it? It's because you have an ache or a pain? All right. If you get that thing, it will help. But what are you going to do about your shoulder? Nothing. Yeah. Talk to you in 5 weeks again when your shoulder's still hurting. Talk to you years from now when your shoulder's still hurting. I've had athletes on the CrossFit side who I had known them for like 8 years, 10 years, and like, my knee always hurt. Yeah, because you won't do anything about it. I'm sorry. Like, how many times do you want to have this conversation about it? So it's just a thing that you have to watch out for is why are you buying the equipment? I'm pro equipment. Use it. Use all the gear you need to. Although I don't know if you need to be like have all of them. Like sometimes I'll see people, they've got the knee sleeves on, they've got the belt on, they've got the elbow wraps, they've got the wrist wraps, they've got like every little thing you can imagine. It's like, I don't know if you need all that.
And if you can like go as long as you can without using anything, because the second you have it, you're going to use it.
Yeah.
So like if you've been fine without it, try to continue. And then, like you said, like instead of using these things as like a Band-Aid, go deeper into the issue. It's kind of like, all right, I could use my Theragun directly on the area that's like tight right now. Or I could go, okay, if I'm tight here, it's probably related to my quad or this. I should stretch that out first. Instead of going directly to the issue, try to find out like what the underlying bigger cause of that is.
Yeah. Should you use a belt? I'm pro belt. Put that belt down when we get to the bigger lifts. But you should also know how to brace your core when you're using the belt, because a lot of people will just put it on there, pull it as tight as possible, and then that is their core now. And it's like, no, you have to still brace with the belt. It's like you there's a way to work with the equipment the same way you're working with the barbell. And I explained to Alex, I'm like, Alex, you are back squatting 500 pounds and front squatting 400 pounds without knee sleeves. You probably don't need them. Like you're like, it's not going to add anything to your clean and jerk or snatch. I don't think so. But keep refining your movement, and then make sure your tissues and joints are healthy. That's going to go a long way
Yeah.
when you don't have to have it. Oh, my knee hurts when I go to sit up on the bar. Like getting rid of that thought is going to improve your lift automatically, I think.
Yeah.
But it's like, no. And I don't like that SBD brand, the powerlifting brand.
Yeah, I don't think it's for us.
No. I know some people on the team advocate for it and like it. I think it's I think it's like not only it's the principal thing. It's like I can't be doing weightlifting wearing powerlifting gear. I can't.
Yeah.
So there's a snooty part of elitist part of that for me, but also I don't think that the way that equipment is meant to move bodes well for a snatch and clean jerk. I think you'd be way better if you need something heavy duty, do like real wraps. So the wraps that I wear and that Jennifer wears, that was one of my old pairs. I gave it to Jennifer. It's very stretchy. It's just fabric. It's like Ace bandage, fancy Ace bandage. They have heavier duty wraps where it would be good for the clean jerk. Like if Alex is going to clean jerk 180, let's wrap those puppies up, and like really lock it in, and he'll feel great. But I don't know. The thing is, like, especially with him too, with how big his legs are any knee sleeves going to stay up there, or are they going to slide down? Like how many? I don't know. I got to look to see. Do any really, really big guys wear knee sleeves, and what brand are they using? Is it a stretchy brand or whatnot, or are they all wrapping?
Yeah.
Well, I'd have to look into that. Actually, I'm curious now. But I think after your legs get to a certain point, they're just going to be falling down and just be pulling them up all the time. So I don't know. So that was my advice to Alex. Like, wait, save the money, and if anything, he doesn't have a foam roller at home. I think that's a better investment.
For sure.
Well, buy a foam roller, and then it's only a good investment if you use it. I've gotten people over the years to buy many, many foam rollers. I should have a stock in foam roller sales through Rogue Fitness. But the thing is, if you don't use it, it's useless. It's useless. I have mine right here. Actually, this is the Melt roller. It's very squishy. So it's because the concept behind Melt is that it's already beat up. The tissue's already beat up. So why would you jam something into it and elicit a pain response? It's way better to have it be soft and just lightly massage and get the fluid flow, and then let those areas relax. And then if you do find a tough spot, pause there, breathe through it, and then you're just trying to melt onto the roller to go deeper. And you don't need a hard implement to go deeper. You need to relax. Your muscle is too tensed to allow anything to happen. So you're trying to take a hard implement and just push deeper, when really it's like this. You have to let it has to open up to let you in. Yeah. So that's part of the concept behind the Melt method. We used to actually have a Melt method class way back in 2011 at the gym. And there are these little balls. They look like bouncy balls you get out of a gumball machine. Some of them are just like you completely press it together. Other ones are like that material, and they'll bounce. And you use them to go all around intricate details on your hands and feet. And then you'll feel amazing. I have the DVD somewhere, and then that's the Melt roller. So you don't need anything crazy. Like, we're already beating these muscles to death in the gyms. Squat, snatch, clean and jerk. So it makes sense. And even those Theraguns, that's still a lot. Like, if you turn it up, like they hurt a little bit, or it's I feel like that's good in the moment. But like, I don't know, would you Theragun before you're going to go to bed? Does it help?
It depends. Yeah, it depends. It's the same thing with the foam roller. Like whether we use like the yellow ones versus the black ones. It's like, it depends on the day and what you're trying to get. Yeah.
I should bring this roller to the gym just so people can try it. And then if someone decides to buy one, they can. Maybe I'll bring that on Tuesday just to try out. But so that's use the equipment. Make sure you're getting it for the right reasons, and then you got to put in the work. There's no way around it. Especially when you start getting up to certain weights. All right. Any other thoughts, Miguel? on anything we've talked about? Any other things that are on your mind?
No, I guess just enjoy the rest of this Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah. Enjoy Memorial Day weekend. It'll still be go watch Mission Impossible. Support movies. Go see that. And that's it. And Tom Cruise still looks good. Still looks good. He is, if anything, a good example of if you take care of your body, you can look that way when you're 62.
Yeah.
And also, I guess being young at heart too. Like
Right.
he still has the hair. He has the hairstyle of like a 22-year-old, but it's like that's just who he is, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like I know sometimes people make fun of like older men who do that, but it's like, hey, he's enjoying life. Like he's actually having a good time.
Mhm.
Like there's something to take from it. I'm assuming he's having a good time. I think if you're Tom Cruise, you're probably having a good time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't realize he was born in Syracuse, New York. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
He's from Syracuse,
Hmm.
and he's 5'7". I thought he was way shorter than that.
Yeah, they kind of play it up in terms
Do you-
of like, oh,
do you
he's
think
like a
that-
tiny person. But
Wait,
no,
do you think that seven's real on Google?
people have differing opinions, but he's not like, I mean, he's taller than us.
Yeah. I'm 5'5". You're 5'5",
4 probably.
somewhere's
Yeah.
around there. You weightlifting
Yeah.
shrunk you down. But so yeah, I thought he was probably around our height. That's what I actually thought. And then I saw a
Yeah.
7. I'm like, really? It's
Mhm.
5'7"? I think 5'7" is out of the realm of even being made fun of about for your height. I think
Yeah, I think it's a Hollywood thing. It's not common. Like I was watching this whole thing. It's it's separate. But yeah, like 5'9" for like leading men, like it's very uncommon.
oh,
Like they're usually taller than that.
really? Okay.
Yeah, there are like a few exceptions throughout like years, but for the most part, yeah.
Like Arnold's like 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah.
But so they just want taller. But with the cat, like I never thought about how tall Tom Cruise was watching all of his movies like back in the day until it was someone brought it up in like on TV. They're like,
Yeah.
he's short. I'm like, really? Because like with the way they film things, like he looks like he's the same height as Jean Reno or John Voight from the first Mission Impossible. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like you don't think about it. I'm just watching the movie. I don't care how tall he is. He
Mhm.
looks like a guy. That's it. But I guess other people focus on things like that. But so yeah, Syracuse, New York, born there.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, Miguel, have a good rest of your Memorial Day weekend. I will see you tomorrow for Murph,
Yeah.
and we'll talk about it next week. I think it's going to go well.
Yeah, I think so too.
Awesome. Where can people follow you?
At Can It Be Miguel on Instagram.
Cool. Follow me, James A. McDermott. Follow the Barbell Club at Albany CrossFit Barbell Club, Albany CrossFit, the Barbell Strikes Back, and we will be back next week. Thank you for listening.